All right. Awesome. Welcome everybody to this month's workshop. This month, we're going to be talking all about optimizing your Google business listing, Google business profile, lots of different names that you could call it. But this is by far one of the best things you can do for your business to improve the amount of lead flow that you have coming in. So today we're going to cover some different things. What's new with the Google Maps listing? It has a lot of names. The five biggest issues that could prevent you from ranking in this area. Our proven model to rank you in what we call the 3-pack or the snack pack of results in the map area. We'll talk a little bit about some tools that can help you along the way, how to get more authentic reviews. Reviews are a big piece of this entire equation. So we'll talk all about those things. Real quick, just about me. My name is Will Hankey. My business is called Window Treatment Marketing Pros. I have been doing digital marketing now for 27 years. The Window Treatment Marketing Pros business is 5.5 years into it. And we specifically work with window treatment and awning companies. That's it. I do have a book called Triple Your Window Treatment and Awning Leads. If you don't have a copy of this book, hang around at the end of the workshop today. I'll let you know how you can get a free copy of this. I'll drop it in the mail for you right away. We are Google partners. We're veteran-owned, family-owned business. If you do have questions, probably the easiest thing to do here is to put your question into the chat. I am multitasking today. So along with doing the webinar, I'm going to be watching the chat. I'm going to be letting anybody in that might come want to get in a little bit late. So I'll make sure that everybody gets in. And I want to make sure that I answer everybody's questions along the way as well. So if you have a question, put it in the chat right away. I would prefer to answer it as we're going through it versus you waiting to the end and then us have to go back and kind of rehash. So if you have a question, please pipe up, put something in the chat, and I will do my absolute best to keep an eye on it. All right. So today we're talking all about Google Business Profile. Now, our business has put together 12 different pieces, what we call the digital dominance method. As you can see, there are a lot of things that you could be doing for your business from a digital standpoint. I mean, there's SEO, there's optimization, there's retargeting, social media. You guys hear all these things all the time, and I'm sure it's overwhelming. Which one should I actually do, right? So we put them into kind of an order, and we call it our digital dominance method, that if you're doing these things, you're probably killing it in your area. Today, we're focusing on number 2, which is local SEO and kind of the foundation of everything you do. Now, the ultimate foundation is number 1, which is your website. That is the hub of everything you do online related to digital marketing. So the hub, the website is number 1. Number 2, today we're talking about the foundation of other things you can do online, which includes Google Business Profile. So does Google Maps matter? I think this is a pretty easy choice here. 71% of clicks come from these 2 areas. Now, what's interesting is if you do a search for, what is this, Memphis, window treatments Memphis, you might get a couple ads at the top and then the 3-pack and then what we call the organic results. Now, if 71% of the clicks go to this area, you can assume the other clicks probably go to the paid ads. But even with that in place, look how much more powerful this is than even the paid ad system. So this is by far the most powerful thing that you can do for your business. Now, if you're really good, one thing you can do is get listed in the 3-pack or the map area, and then also get an organic listing or 2 below that. So you're getting a whole bunch of eyeballs on your brand from just one search, which is incredible. Now, if we factor in mobile, this brings up some other points. So probably about 5 years ago now, Google actually split into 2 Googles, I guess you could say. There's the Google that you get when you do a search on your phone, and there's a different set, a different index that you get when you do a search on a desktop. So they've actually split into two different things. So what happens is people on mobile devices are much more likely to choose one of the three listings in the map pack and just engage with those business, not go to websites, not click the ads, but specifically focus on how many reviews they have, who looks like the best choice of those three. So mobile's a huge piece of this entire system. We can see here that back in around 2018, screen view for mobile, blew away TV. I think there's no denying that fact anymore. And, just all the different things that people use their phone for. Some of the biggest include research, shopping, looking up, local businesses, things of that sort. So very, very important. So this is a list of calls this week. And you'll notice over here on the left, this says March. So this was not this week, but this is a company in Los Angeles. And just during that time frame, look at the amount of calls that they had and where they came from. So I wanted to do this. I'm gonna switch this over here. Now, can you guys see a screen that says call reporting? Perfect. All right. So this is the same company, and this is from this week. So I'm looking over to my left here because it's on my other screen, but I wanted to show you just what is going on right now. And here's where we're looking under this number name. So today is the 23rd. So these are yesterday's calls. Website, Google My Business, Google My Business, Google My Business, pay-per-click, Google My Business, website, Google My Business, Google My Business, Google My Business. Look at this. I mean, this is live as of this week, where this particular client is getting their calls from. So, I mean, if that doesn't speak to the power of GMB, I'm not sure what exactly it does. It is incredible the amount of leads that you can get from that system. Now, would anybody like that many leads from Google My Business? I'm sure you would, right? It's a great way to get those phones to ring. So yes, obviously it does matter. It drives calls, and you can't just rely on paid ads and even SEO exclusively. As I showed earlier, the digital dominance method, it's all these different things working together that really just start pushing your business further and further ahead and getting that phone to ring more often. All right, any questions before I press on? We're going to start talking about what's new. If you have a question, pop it in the chat. I want to make sure that I'm answering everything as we go along. And welcome to Eileen. We had a couple other people jump in. Robin, Mandy, thanks for jumping on today. All right, I don't see any questions, so let's chat. Okay, here we go. One question. How do you get the reporting of where the leads come from? So I just showed you a tool that we use that we've developed for our clients called Lead Boomerang. We'll talk a little bit more about that tool later, but it is a online software system where every lead that you get comes into this one platform. And no matter if it came from a chat or a form on your site or Google My Business, or they saw you on Google, anything, all those leads come into that one system, which is really nice. And then you can attribute each of those to that particular source. So if you're starting to do things like, we've got some clients that do flyers, you'll hand out flyers. So we'll put a QR code on the flyer and a call tracking number that goes, when they call that number, it routes through Lead Boomerang to their regular business line, but then they can see if their flyers are actually generating revenue and leads. So everything goes through Lead Boomerang. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. Thank you, Jeff. All right, what's new? What are some of the new things that are going on with Google? The Google Map listing reduced from 7 to 3. So they used to show just a list of 7. Now that is 3. We call that the 3-pack, or sometimes we call it the snack pack. What did I do here? I clicked something. I'm sorry about that. Google is serving paid ads in the map result. So that is big. So even though there's a 3-pack of results, Google actually has a way where you can put a pay-per-click ad in above those 3. It looks like one of the 3 listings. So it looks like one of the map listings, but it's a 4th listing. And you can kind of interject yourself into that system and start getting listed in there while you're working on optimizing your profile to just get in there naturally. Critical to complete verification process. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. And all reviews now require real accounts. So as I said, used to be 7, there used to be quite a list. Now it's just 3 with a picture of a map. Sometimes it looks like this, sometimes it looks a little different. We'll be talking about that in a bit. Robert said, how do you get that PPC above the map? So you would do that inside Google AdWords. So that would be actually inside of your ad system. There is a way to also show ads in the map pack. Now, it doesn't happen every single time, but if Google thinks it's appropriate, if you have that turned on, you can show up there as well. I do have training specifically on paid ads. You can get that at wtmarketingpros.com/training. Go look for the one that I did on paid ads. That will teach you all about paid ads and some of this kind of stuff as well. All right, so that's no longer available. Now what we see is basically the paid ads at the top. Now you will notice here, the first thing is something called home service ads. Those actually are not available for the window treatment and awning industry yet. So we can kind of ignore that for our industry. Now, if we were plumbers or roofers or something like that, we'd have to deal with that as well, but we do not right now in our industry. So in that case, we've got the AdWords first, then the 3-pack, and then the SEO or organic listings after that. Local service ads is what that top area is called, and it is not yet available for us. So the other thing with this is there was a point where Google had a ton of fake business listings. Now, Google tells us that they've actually done some things to kind of thwart this and keep that to a minimum. However, I don't know how much of that is true. Here's an article from 2019 saying, as a matter of fact, there are a lot of negative or fake business profiles out there still. So that kind of makes me wonder, okay, is there or is there not? But it could be that there are still plenty of them out there, and especially when it says Google profits from it, that kind of makes you wonder. So I did a little research and thought, well, I'll look for some of these, in different industries, see what's out there. Here's an example of a listing that is violating the terms of service for Google My Business. So as part of setting up your business listing, you have to list your business name. Now, in this case, Oceanside Movers added some extra keywords, moving company, right? Of course, they want to rank when somebody types in moving company, wherever this is, Long Beach or something. But that's not the way that this, it's Oceanside, California. That's not how it works. This is actually a listing that is against the terms of service. So you have to be careful not to do that. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into that piece. But the big thing that's going on right now is, first of all, they changed their name. Google My Business used to be called Google Places, used to be called Google My Business. The actual name now is Google Business Profile. It's been Google My Business for quite a while. And I don't know, that's just still in my head. So that's the way that I say it still. Officially, GBP is what it's called right now. So there are some layout changes that I've noticed. Here's a search for Memphis window treatments. So remember that, Memphis window treatments. When I search for that, I got 3 listings over here and I got a map over on the right. Now, if I do a search for window treatments Memphis, same exact 3 words, different order. Now look at the layout. Maps up here, 3 listings are below. So kind of interesting to see how Google is playing with the different layouts and how they show them. And I'm sure they're always testing things. This is one that I just happened to catch at the time and thought I would share with you guys. All right, Robert's got a question. How do these window treatment national chains like Stonefire get to show their national 5-star reviews and not just local reviews? So they're supposed to show local reviews only. So Stoneside, blinds.com, who else is, what is the other big one? Blinds, maybe is it Blinds to Go? There's a couple of the big ones, even Home Depot and Lowe's, right, can show up for these things. They are supposed to only show their local reviews specifically for that particular location. Now, if they're not, then they're violating terms of service, right? They're linking to an incorrect account to show those reviews. So every one of these should be the local account for that particular area. So I don't know if that helps you, but most likely they're cheating the system. So somebody like Budget Blinds, 3-Day Blinds, those types of companies should only be showing for the local place. Another thing is the app. There used to be a really cool app for Google My Business. They decided to take that off of the App Store. So you can't do that anymore. You can't edit that way. Now the way to edit it is actually right inside the search results. So you just do a search for your business name. It will recognize that you're logged in as Google and you are the owner of that particular business. And you'll get all these extra little things to show up that where you can edit your business live right inside of the search results. So that's a little bit different. Took a little getting used to for me, but all the same information is there. It's just a different way to go about it. Now, verification, as I mentioned earlier, getting a lot tougher. It used to be that you would put up your business, they would send you a postcard, and a week later you'd put in the PIN number they sent you and you were verified. That is no longer the case. I wish it was that easy. But now a lot of my agency friends are saying that there are situations where Google is asking for pictures of signage, a video of you walking through your business, walking through the front door and showing the desks and the people working and that kind of stuff, which is really, really difficult when you're working from home, right? You probably don't have signage. So the entire verification process is really getting a lot tougher. And it's even kind of scary now for like our clients that we have, if they have an update, phone number changed, addresses, something like that. When we go in to just make those changes, a lot of times that flags Google to start asking for all of these other things. So it can get quite crazy quite quickly with the verification process, and could take a while in some cases for you to get verified. So if you're not verified, get it done as soon as possible, because it can turn into quite a process. How do I let Google know? This is from Doug. How do I let Google know there is no physical location for a business that no longer has one? So if the business, is this for your business, I guess, Doug? If it still exists, like you had a retail location, now you don't. So you're home-based. Would that be fair to say? It probably still has a physical location somewhere. Doug, can you unmute and just explain? No, maybe not. If you just have to change your address, you would just do the same thing. You would search for your business in Google. Let me go back to that slide here. Oh, right there. So you would just search for your business. Since you're the owner of that business, you can go in here and edit things like your address, those sorts of things. Now, if this is a competitor that maybe closed down and is no longer doing business, then you would just do a search for that competitor. And there's actually a button there that says this business is no longer in business, or this business is now closed, or something like that. But if it's your own business, you have to have a location, whether that's a home location or a retail type store or something like that. Hopefully that answers your question there. So let's talk about how to get ranked in whatever it's called right now. There are really 4 pieces to this. First of all, claiming your profile, google.com/business. That's where you go to claim your profile. Then we have something called citations, then reviews. Everybody knows about reviews. And then your on-page SEO. When we talked earlier about the digital dominance method and the first piece being your website SEO actually does affect your Google business profile. So that is an important piece as well. So let's talk about some of these things when it comes to claiming your business. Now, I'm not a fan of slides with tons of text, but this is one of the few that you're going to get from us. Make sure you have a login, update your company name to only have your company name. Make sure you have your website address in there because that does count as a link back to your business, which is something that Google looks at overall for SEO. Use a local number. 800 numbers are kind of passe. They're no longer really a thing. Use a local address, and then upload photos. We'll talk a little bit more about the photos piece here in a minute, but upload photos, geotag those photos. I'll talk a little bit about that. And obviously make sure you list your hours, your services that you offer, and pick the right categories too. One thing I didn't put on there, but I'll point that out here in a minute. So google.com/business is where you go. Oops, let me go back to that. Top right corner, sign in, manage now, or claim your business. It's going to say something along those lines. Once you get in there, again, make sure you use your real company name. F&R Interiors thought they would add a couple keywords to theirs. Not good. At some point, somebody's probably going to flag them as incorrect listing. Once you get in there, click the info tab. That's where a lot of these things are going to be. Obviously, you can also go to just Google and search for your business name, and you'll have this same type of window where you can start to edit different things. Under business category, for most of you, it's going to be window treatment company or window treatment store, or it's going to be awning supplier, something along those lines. But don't stop there. List as many categories as you can. In fact, you might want to grab a screenshot of this, write it down, list as many of these categories as makes sense for your business. Now, if you're not an upholstery shop, don't list it that you are. But if that's something you do, add that to the listing. I think you can add, I think it's 7 or 8 total that you can use in the business categories. There are some tools out there too online where you can actually, just look up Google business category ideas, and it will tell you what other categories. If you type the words curtains in there, it'll tell you what other words that might be good categories that you could add to this. So there are some different tools out there. Just Google that kind of a thing. But these are some really good ones here if they make sense for your business. So some best practices. Use call tracking to differentiate your lead sources. So earlier when I showed you guys all the different lead sources that were coming in for that client in LA, we're doing that through call tracking. Call tracking is getting a phone number that only shows up in your Google business profile. It doesn't show up anywhere else. So that number forwards to your regular line or forwards to like our lead boomerang system, which then forwards to your regular line. But this lets you differentiate where that call came from so that you could start to see what things are working, what things are not working, which sources are generating leads for your business. Update and geotag your photos. We'll talk about that. Add new photos consistently. There's something called Google Posts where you can do kind of like blog posts inside of there. They're usually a lot shorter, just quick little updates about your business. We recommend doing that once every 10 days. Respond to reviews and answer questions that get posted. So we'll go through some of these here. Call tracking. We always put the call tracking number first, and then your real phone number needs to be listed in your Google business profile, but you put that as the first alternate number. So everybody that's doing a search and finding your business in Google business profile sees your call tracking number as the first number. That allows you to track that source. I mentioned geotagging photos. So before you upload photos, speaking of which, people love before and after pictures in our industry. So when you upload those kinds of pictures, we recommend geotagging them. We use a service called GeoImager, which I think is like $9 a month or something. It's terribly cheap. And you just upload your picture into this particular software and then tell it where that picture was taken. And then it will actually geotag that picture by latitude and longitude. Now, I would say that don't geotag the customer's address. So put like the town that they're in, or the like the entrance to the subdivision or something like that, right? You got to be careful not to tag people's homes because of privacy issues, but still use it to your advantage, showing Google that we installed some window treatments in this particular suburb. Those types of things are really good for the system. When you do go add photos, there's actually an option on the left. Click the photos, click the button to add photos, upload those geotagged photos into that system, maybe even put a little description of what that photo is about. Let's see, Robert's got a question. Can you use by appointment only instead of scheduled times? Sure. Yeah, you can do that. You don't, you're just talking about listing your hours. There is a button in there for by appointment only. When you put in your hours. The trick with that is when somebody searches window treatments Memphis, a lot of times Google will show businesses that are open, right? If they're closed, if everybody's closed, they're just going to show 3 locations that they think are the best 3 options, and they'll all be labeled as closed. If you put by appointment only, you run the risk of not showing up even though you're open, because you're not actually listed as open, you're listed as by appointment only. So that's the only trick, but yes, you can do that. All right, posts. There is an area for posts. You just click on there, and then it asks you, what do you want to say? You can upload pictures, all that kind of stuff inside of there. We do recommend that you reply to reviews, and it can be a very simple reply. Just thanks for leaving a review for us. We're glad you had a good experience, those types of things. But these will help your improve your profile, because Google will see that you're actually using their system. And surprise, Google likes it when people use Google stuff. So leaving a reply, pretty easy to do. If you do get a review that is negative, untrue, cusses, anything like that, there is a way to flag as inappropriate, and then you would just pick out what is the thing that they are incorrect about. Maybe it was never a client, we never talked to this person, or there's bullying, all that kind of stuff. They'll take those reviews down. Now, if you just did a bad job and got a 1-star review, then they're not going to take it down, right? If you don't have a reason like these to take it down, the Google probably won't. But if they had a 1-star, what is the word? If they had a 1-star situation with you, and it really was bad, but then they went and left a review about, how much of a jerk you were or something like that, then you can kind of go the bullying and harassment route and probably get it taken down. So it just depends on how they write that 1-star. I mean, here's the best idea. Don't get 1-star reviews, right? But those do happen from time to time. All right, let's see. What if the review was bogus? So if it's a bogus review, then you would use whatever one of these makes the most sense. These are the only options they give you. So in that case, I would probably choose spam or something like that. If another business or person is trying to sabotage you. The nice thing about that is Google only lets you write reviews if you're logged in. So it has to be a real Google account. So if you brought this up to them through this process, it could be that they could take that entire account down so that they can't keep doing it. I think, people are not going to keep creating accounts to do this. They might do it 2 or 3 times, but get tired of it would be my guess. So ultimately, you do have to stay on top of it, though. Now, Google does alert you every time you get a new review. They'll send you an email saying you got a new review. So just go check it out, make sure it was 4 or 5 stars, and you're good to go. If you get a 1 star, then you need to investigate, obviously. They do have insights in the back end of the google.com/business system. There are some really cool insights about where your listing showed up, how often it showed up, whether it showed up in maps versus just search, which is always really cool as well. Some really good information inside here, along with how people engaged with that profile. So what can you do to hurt your own rankings? There are some things we've already mentioned, some of those. Number one, you need an office in the city where you're targeting in order to do well. This has become even more of a issue, along with number 6 here, home office. Google's really cracking down on these things, and if you have a home business, it's getting a lot harder to rank in the map area. So having a physical location is best. Can you always do that? Obviously, no. You might not have the money to pay rent somewhere else, but there's an advantage if you're able to do so. Don't try to spam Google with fake locations. I have seen some companies where they'll put up 5 or 6 or 8 locations around the city. They're all fake, and it works. I'll be honest, it works. We've had some clients say, hey, we want to do this, and we've said no. It's a really bad idea, because once Google finds it, they'll totally take your business offline. So you might have a nice little spike in business for short term, but once somebody reports that this is not a real location, you can go right down the tubes pretty quickly. All right. Inconsistent name, address, and phone number in your profile. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Spam your city name or company name or categories that don't really make sense. And then, do you have enough reviews? We'll talk about all of these things. And I already mentioned the home office thing. So, all right, so let's talk about citations. Citations are basically listings of your business around the web. So consider things like your Facebook page. Better Business Bureau has a listing of your business. Even if you're not like paying Better Business Bureau, you still have a listing there. Foursquare, Chamber of Commerce, right? There's all these different sites. If you're in WCAA, they have a listing, business listing. So all these different sites are listing you, and Google counts those as links to your business, and links equals votes for your business. So you definitely want as many citations as possible. The trick here is consistency: name, address, phone number, what we call NAP. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Make sure you don't have any duplicate listings or business information in there more than once. Robin says you can use a home address as your location. Yes. I'm actually working out of my home and have for 26 years now. It is listed as my home address. During that 26 years, I've had one person show up. So a lot of our clients will say, I'm really worried about putting my address out there and somebody showing up. Doesn't really happen. Yes, you can use a home address. However, with the way that Google is cracking down, they're starting to ask for things like photos of your office, photos of signage, a video tour of your location, those kinds of things. It's going to be a lot harder to do that in a home office. But yes, it is possible. Now, the other solution here is to list your service area. So one other thing you can do is just list the service area that you work in. The problem with doing that is what we've seen. We actually had a client that had her home address listed. in Scottsdale, Arizona, right? Big hopping area, growing tremendously. She said, I don't want my address to show online anymore. Just show a service area of Northern Phoenix and that kind of area. So we did that. We changed it to service area, and her leads just dropped. It was like 1 in 10. So where she would show up for 10 different searches, now she was only searching or showing up for 1. Google does not like it when you don't have a physical address. You can list your service area, but if a new client came to us and had service area listed, we would be very hard pressed to them to list some sort of a physical address because it's that much of a drastic difference. And in this case, that client said, put my address back, please. So it definitely makes a difference. All right. So citations, as I mentioned, are just links around the web pointing back typically to your website, to your homepage. There are a lot of these different citation pages or places. This is a small example of them. I think right now, currently, we submit to around 220 that we have listed. But the important thing here is your NAP, your name, address, phone. It always has to be the same. And even these examples are different from each other. So 123 Main ST is different than 123 Main Street. So when you're listing your business online, pick an address, pick if you want to write out the word street or boulevard or don't, and then stick with it. So always do the same thing everywhere, including your business, Google business profile as well. Most likely what you would want to do here is look at your business license and match to that. Match to whatever it is that you submitted on your business license or your DBA. Incorrect spam in the name. I've said this a couple times now. Here's NY City Blinds, window treatments, design and home automations. If I click on that and then I go to their website, turns out their business name is actually just NY City Blinds. So that should be what's in there and not all of this extra stuff. There are a couple tools that you can use to kind of do this process. Whitespark, Moz Local, Bright Local, and Yext. Now, we personally, with our business, we use Bright Local for all of our clients. Don't know that one's better than the other. I've not heard great things about Yext over the years, but we use Bright Local and we love it. It does give you a great little report that tells you what areas of SEO you're doing right, what areas of SEO you're doing wrong, and then kind of gives you a report on ways that you can fix that. If you want to do that, I'm going to put it right here into the chat report. There you go. You can get your own free report there. It also checks for citation consistency, accuracy, those types of things. So it'll find where, like in this example, Edwardsville, Illinois, but all the other ones have 740 Troy Road. So that's a difference in your name, address, phone number, right? The address is different. A little bit further down, you'll see some phone numbers are incorrect, things like that. So it checks for that consistency, which is a huge piece of this. Basically, if something is incorrect, Google doesn't count it as a link to your site, so you don't get that vote. And everybody knows the more votes you are, the more chances you have to win, right? Or the higher chance you have to win. So does some citation consistency type things, looks at your Google business profile, looks at how many reviews you have, and then a little bit on your on-site SEO. So definitely worth your time to go through that after this workshop today. Couple different best practices: manually claim your name and optimize your Google business profile. That is priority number one. Use a tool like Bright Local, Whitespark to start getting some of those citations and finding out which ones are correct, which ones are incorrect, so that you can start going in and fixing those. There's also something called data aggregators. Currently, Bright Local has 5 different data aggregators that you could submit to. And these are, just think of these giant databases in the sky, right, that have listings of every single business in the world. And a lot of businesses will take their information from those data aggregators to show locally, right? So in some of these cases, when you find that your phone number is wrong or your address is wrong, it's because the aggregators have it wrong and they're sending that information out to these sites. So you can actually submit the correct information to the aggregators, and then that will start to filter down. So that's a great way to do it. Mandy says, my SEO report says I'm a home goods store. How do I change that to a window treatment store? So that would be inside your Google business profile. And there might be other categories in there. So it might be listed as that. I think Bright Local just picks one of those. But Mandy, we can look at that as well. All right. Local citation ideas. Chamber of Commerce, local Kiwanis, JCs, those types of things. BNI, if your BNI has a website or a page on the BNI thing, you can also Google your city business directory and just put your city in there, and there might be some local business directories for your area. Sponsor events that have websites. So the trick here is sponsor events, little league teams, but you want to sponsor the ones that have some sort of a website where they list you as a sponsor, because then they can put your name, address, phone number, link back to you, and you get a vote for your business again. So Robert, does window treatment marketing pros do this for us? Yes, this is one of the first things that we do for our Scale and Outshine clients. Mandy says, Google profile says I'm a window treatment business. There you go. So I don't know why the SEO report came up weird. I think Bright Local might just pick one of the local ones. So good. I'm glad it came up the correct way for you. If you're looking for ways to find citations quick, we went ahead and put together 75 resources for you. wtmarketingpros.com/citations. I was going to try to copy that and put it into the chat, but let me just type it for you. wtmarketingpros.com/citations. So that'll get you started. That's a great way to start getting things moving for you. And that will directly affect your Google business profile for sure. All right, next, how to get reviews. We need reviews, and we need real reviews, right? This is always a struggle for our clients. Here's an example. If somebody does a search for St. Louis draperies, the first business here has 32 reviews, the second has 2, and the third has 0, right? So from a what we call social proof standpoint, the first choice must be the best choice, right? Because they have the most reviews, most positive reviews as well. If these other 2 companies started asking for reviews and got more reviews, then they'd get more calls.
Hi, Tamara, give me a minute. I'm trying to mute this.
Oh, I'll get you, Annette. No problem. There we go. All right. So obvious choice there is Sunshine in that particular case. Another thing you can do is just start reaching out. When somebody signs up for our business, one of the first things we ask for is a list of past customers. And we start reaching out to them, say, hey, we did a install for you in the past. Would you mind leaving us a review? So everybody has a list. It might not be in Excel. It might be written down somewhere, but everybody has a list somewhere, hopefully of email addresses as well. If you don't, start collecting those email addresses right away. But this will be a great way to start kind of boosting up your reviews a little bit quicker, is just to reach out to past clients and ask them for them. Some strategies around driving reviews. Use some sort of a tool to ask for those reviews. After this, I'll show you the lead boomerang tool that we give to all of our clients that does some of this. Leave a printed review card. I'll show you one of those. Train your installers to plant the seed and obviously deliver a world-class experience, but have them when they first start out, hey, Mrs. Jones, we're going to be asking you for a review at the end of this. Let us know if there's any problems with anything we're doing along the way. And then obviously make it a world-class experience. Roger Magalis has some training on this, which is just incredible, around things that you can do when you get to the install, in order to get that 5-star review at the end of it. Make a call after the service and walk them through the review process, and build reviews and recognition into your company culture. We do have some clients that incentivize their installers to ask for reviews. You cannot incentivize a client or a customer to leave a review. In other words, hey, Mrs. Jones, if you write a review, we'll knock $20 off your bill. That is 100% against terms of service. Now, do people do it? Absolutely. We had some plumbing work done in our house a couple weeks ago, and he literally said that if you can leave a review for us, we'll knock $25 off. Okay, no problem. Against terms of service. So just be careful if you do ask for those kinds of things. However, you can incentivize your installers to help to prod the customer to get a review, right? And the installer can get some money for it. Now, I've mentioned Lead Boomerang a couple times. Here's the back end of that tool. So this is one of our clients. This is the review request here. So you can get a text message asking for a review. You can get an email or both. And then there's actually a way for, do you just want to send one review request to be done, or do you want to send a schedule? Typically, we do the schedule, and the schedule is, hey, Mrs. Jones, we just got done installing your stuff. Hope you're really happy. Please click here to leave a review. Obviously, you'd probably make it sound a little nicer than that, but that's the idea. And then typically we do a wait of about 4 to 5 days, and then we send a follow-up review request. Hey, Mrs. Jones, we're a small business. We thrive on these reviews. We really need them for your business, for our business to grow. Could you please leave us a review? And then number 3, last chance, please leave us a review. Now, if somewhere during that process, the customer clicks the link to go leave a review, we immediately take them out of that process, so that if they left a review, they're not a couple days later getting an email from us asking them to leave a review, right? So we don't want them to be mad. So, but this system works really well. I did mention the business cards earlier. We do these for all of our clients. When they sign up, we send them custom business cards that are just logo on one side, and on the back, all it says is, would you mind leaving us a review? These are great to give to the installers because it just has a simple QR code. Everybody knows how to do QR codes nowadays. And that QR code, when shot, goes straight to that business's Google business profile review. It literally pops up and has the 5 stars. You can leave 1 through 5 stars. So this is something you can hand them in the living room while they're looking at their new blinds and saying, oh my God, these things are awesome. Yeah, as a matter of fact, would you mind leaving us a review? Absolutely the best time to ask for that, versus waiting till you get back to the shop and sending them an email. A lot of times your chances of getting a review really go down. So again, 4 pieces to the successful rankings. Google My Business Profile, you have to optimize it. Citations, a big piece of this. Getting reviews. And then lastly is your on-page SEO. Now, I didn't go through any of that today because that's a whole different kind of training on how to SEO your website. But that is the 4 pieces to really start ranking your site well, or start ranking your Google business profile well, not necessarily your site. So if you have any questions as we start to finish up, please put those into the chat. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything for anybody. One last thing, don't forget about Bing Places. So even though I've pretty much focused on Google Business Profile, there is a service called Bing Places that you should probably list your business on. And I'm pretty sure, it's been a while since I've been in there, but I'm pretty sure you can actually optimize your Google Business Profile, then go to Bing Places, claim your listing, and they'll actually pull in all of your Google information. They've totally surrendered to the fact that they're not the best. And they make it where you could just pull that information in instead of reloading it all, which is pretty awesome. The third one, which I did not put on here, is Apple Maps. I would also recommend you getting your business listed in Apple Maps, because that is by default the system that all iPhones use. iPhone users use that system, so make sure that you're listed in there. There are some additional steps that you have to go through to get in there, but definitely worth your time. Again, digital dominance method, 12 different things. Today we focus specifically on number 2, all around local SEO and building your foundation for your business. And again, one of the best things you can do, quite honestly, you're going to get a ton of leads by starting to, well, it depends on where you are and how much competition there is. But if you could start to get listed in the Google Business Profile, it will start getting your phone to ring. All right. Any questions in the chat before we finish up? I'll watch the chat for those. If you want to talk strategy, I would love to talk with you about your goals, what you're trying to accomplish. I appreciate everyone sticking around. And by the way, if you do want a copy of the book, I forgot to put a slide in here for this. If you want a copy of the book, absolutely free, I can stick it in the mail to you this week. WTMarketingPros.com/book is where you would go for that. I will send one to you absolutely free, and 255 pages of nerdy digital marketing stuff related to our industry. David says, great info. Robert says, is there a YouTube video of this today? Yes, we are streaming live to YouTube right now. So if you go to our YouTube channel, you will be able to get that. You'll be able to review this immediately. So let me get that link for you, and I'll put it into the chat here. The biggest thing that you can do here is when you get there, click the subscribe button. I think it's in the top right. Click the subscribe button, and then you'll get notified every time there are new videos that come up. Mandy says, how do we connect our Facebook and Instagram page to our Google profile? I don't know if you can connect social media sources to it. Quite honestly, I just don't know if that's a thing that you can even do. Good question. I'm sorry, I don't know the answer, but Mandy, I will look it up for you and get that answer to you. Any other questions? I appreciate you guys jumping on. Robert, can you have a business Facebook and a personal Facebook separate? Yeah, absolutely. You definitely should. Your personal Facebook is a person, and then you should have a business page for your Facebook page. So some people will set up their business as another person, and that doesn't work. Facebook will knock that down. So Doug says, how do I post videos, where and when? So inside Google Business Profile under posts, you can post videos in there. Again, we recommend posting once every 10 days or so just to keep it active. If you have more, you can. And if you can't, try to do it at least once every 10 days. Mandy says, a report that I read says my ranking was poor because they didn't have a Facebook link. So they're talking about a link on your website to Facebook. So typically social media links, we recommend putting those in the footer of your site. And a lot of window treatment companies will put their social media in the header at the top of the page, and it turns into distractions. The purpose of somebody coming to your website typically is to try to turn them into a lead, right? So you do want those links to your social media profiles, but you don't want them as distractions towards getting the lead. So we put them in the footer. We don't put them in the header where they're less of a distraction, I guess you could say. Can I post to Google from my iPhone by sending a message? I don't think so. I think you would have to go search for your business. Now, when they had the app, it was a lot easier, but now you have to search for your business and then go to posts and then write the posts in there, which is it's a little clunky, right, on phones because they're so little. Absolutely possible, just a little bit of a clunky way to go about it. But on a desktop, it would still be the same. You would search for your business. You would go to posts and then put your post in there. All right. Other questions? I appreciate all the questions. And as I said, we will have recording this up shortly. Also, one other thing, next month, we are doing live website critiques. So I am actually going to take submissions of websites of window treatment and awning companies. We're going to pull them up live and tear them apart in a very polite way. So I'm going to show you all the things that are wrong, all the things that the companies are doing right, and what a fantastic way to learn from your peers what is working right, what is working, what is not working or hurting you. So we'll be doing that next month. So watch for a link from us probably early next week around the website critiques. Renan says, got to jump on another call, sent you a text message. Thank you so much. Robert says satellite offices with GBP profiles. So if they're real locations, then sure. There's no reason not to do that. If you have several locations, then the way you would do that on your website is you would have robertswindowtreatments.com/locations/Smallville, right? And /locations/Chesterfield. So each location would have a separate page on your website, and then your Google business profile, the URL would point to that location page instead of your home page. So absolutely, if you have more than one location, you can do that. The trick here is going to be they have to be legit locations. And Google's, as I said, cracking down on those. So things like UPS store, some people would try to use the physical address of a post office with Suite 100, meaning PO Box 100. Google's onto that. People could use, you could use, what are those called? Co-working spaces where you rent a desk. Again, the trick there might be that you have to have signage, right? You have to have stickers. So you might have to get some vinyl stickers printed. Hey, can I stick these on the door? Shoot a picture, make a video, and then scrape them back off, right? You might end up having to do something like that in a co-working type environment. That's really, other than just having a physical location, it's going to start getting a lot tougher, I think. So, all right, let me scroll through here, make sure I didn't miss anything. I think I got all the questions. Thank you guys again for jumping on today. Appreciate it. Enjoyed it. And hope you have a great rest of your day. I will be sending out a replay with this information shortly. And take care, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your week.